Welcome back, Betting Public Sports Show. I'm your beloved host, Fame Rothstein, and we're sitting with our most frequent guest, family, if you will. The out of Chicago, the great Coach Michael Mayden. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
All right, good. Everything been okay for you recently?
Well, it's been busy, but we got a lot of things on the wheel, and we're trying to turn out some positive things.
Okay. That's always a delight to be involved, to be talking with you and helping try to help further your cause of black baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Last time we talked about a year ago, you were in the midst of trying to kind of bring out a black baseball minor league system. I know you've had some efforts in that. How's that been going for you?
Yeah, well, it's called independent ball, and what we're doing is we're working on partnering with some groups to bring about a fall independent league that would go from uh, that would go from Labor Day weekend, following Labor Day weekend, the first weekend in September, and go through the first weekend in October, which will be 30 games in 30 days.
Mhm.
And our targeted audience, African American baseball players, is looking for that exposure and that opportunity to continue playing baseball past the high school to collegiate level, and or those who just may not have had the opportunity to be a part of a college or collegiate team. This is the opportunity. Now, again, our doors is open to all, but our focus is on African American baseball players for baseball players in general.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, since we talked, I saw an interview of you and your organization on Roland Martin. Was that a recent interview or was that something older?
That was, I think, that was right after Christmas.
Right after Christmas. Oh, tell us
That
how did he hear about you and how'd that go for you?
well, we've been putting it out there on social media, and somehow it's fallen in different laps and different ears and eyesight. And they heard about the program, they wanted to know more about it, and it gave us a platform and audience to reach outside of our inner circle to expand, just as your clientele will allow us to reach others that need to know about this program and find out how they can support it and embrace
Absolutely. Okay. Roland Martin's a known,
it.
nationally known, syndicated talk show host. Used to be on CNN. I think he does a podcast now. Did he seem to know about baseball?
Well, a little disappointing. It was during the holiday season, so we didn't get Roland. We got his co-host, but I'm familiar with Roland when he headed up the Chicago Defender newspaper, his Chicago Black newspaper, and he was one of the hosts on WVON, a black talk radio show here in Chicago. So I'm very familiar with Roland and his legacy. But I look forward to that follow-up interview where I get Roland on the red carpet.
There you go. There you go. Um, so how do you what are the numbers like? You're based out of Chicago, correct?
We're based out of Chicago, and the league will be out of Lansing, Illinois, which is a south suburb of Chicago, what they call the Chicago Southland, which sits 10 minutes from the Indiana state line.
Oh, so you're talking about what, like Hammond, Indiana, and whatnot?
It's about 10 minutes from Hammond, Indiana. As soon as you cross that line, you're going into Hammond, Whiting and Hammond, Indiana.
Oh, okay, okay. So what have you seen as far as the numbers in Chicago? Inner city youth baseball. Are they increasing or?
Well, baseball as a whole is dying, and it's
Hmm.
dying faster in our inner city community. That's not to negate that we don't have black kids playing baseball. They're playing baseball. The numbers are just down, and they're down in all communities, down in the white community, in the Hispanic community. Although it seems like the Latin players are dominating the game right now. But what we have to do, and what this league does, is independent baseball, which is basically equivalent to minor league baseball without being affiliate or owned by a major league team.
Hmm.
And we have to give our kids, those baseball players, something to look forward to.
Right.
They're not getting a chance to play on a high school level, as I said before. If they're not at a traditionally predominantly all black high school, they're not on a high school team. They're not getting a chance to play at the HBCs, which are your historically black colleges, because historically black colleges that used to cater to the black baseball players are now catering to the non-African American baseball players. They're becoming the minorities at HBCs, and they're getting minority scholarships. The white ball players and the Hispanic players and the Latin players, they're getting minority scholarships to play baseball at HBCs. And where we had black coaches coaching at HBCs, now we got multiple HBCs out there with non-African American coaches coaching. So, we're losing out on all ends of the game. And I keep telling guys, we keep Major League Baseball take a lot of knocks and blows because of the decline of African American. Well, let me rephrase that. United States born African American, United States born black players playing in the major leagues, because some will tell you that the Latin players are really black players. Some of them don't align themselves with blacks, and some do. But that's how they'll get around it by saying, well, we got the Latin players, we got the Dominican players. I'm talking about African American born black players. It's a decline. Yes. And Major League Baseball, I will admit, they have taken some sharp blows about the lack of African American baseball players playing in the major leagues, and they own some of that blame. It ain't like they innocent. But if our players are not getting the opportunity to play on a high school level, and they're not getting the opportunity to play on a collegiate level, there is no pool for the major leagues to draft these players into the major leagues.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
College and high school becomes the farm system for players to get drafted, and nobody addressed that. I watched the College World Series last year. I caught bits and pieces of it, and some of the top college baseball programs across the country on ESPN in the College World Series, and I could count on one hand the number of blacks on the teams that's in the College World Series.
Yeah.
And not to mention, you go in major league locker rooms and you count the numbers of blacks on one hand that's on major league rosters.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have to do is we have to form a league of our own, to allow black players, and again, not limited only to black, but we're talking about a black audience right now. We're talking to a black audience right now. Black players to cultivate their talent and ability, and have some place when they finish high school or don't get a chance to play high school to come play baseball, mm-hmm. to come develop, to come learn, and then develop these players, get them good and ready. Not just get them playing baseball, get them good and ready. Walk up to the door of Major League Baseball, knock on the door, and say, here's 100 black baseball players that are developed, polished, and ready to compete on a major league level. Sign these players to a major league contract, just like you go over to third world countries, the Latin countries, and you have your international scouts that go over there and hold trials, or let me rephrase that, they get invited over there by those that run those Latin leagues to recruit these players and assign them at 16, 17, 18, 19 years old to multi-million-dollar minor league contracts that may never play in the major leagues. We have to force the issue by saying, we got a league. We got a developmental league that's going to teach these guys, that's going to put 2-3 years of service into these guys to get them ready to say, here is a finished and a polished product. Now, what's your excuse, Major League Baseball? We can't look over our shoulder now and say, well, we would draft them, but they're not playing college ball, so we don't have anywhere to draft them. We would draft them, but they're not playing high school baseball. We would draft them, but they're not polished. They got talent and ability, but they raw. It's just like going to get you some fish. Mm-hmm. You got to cook that fish. You got to season it. You got to fry to get that crispy golden fish. To get you some of that good Louisiana Popeyes chicken. When you get that chicken out of the box, it's just a chicken. You got to season it, batter it, put it down in that grease, and let it cook to the right degree. Because if you overcook it, it's burnt. If you undercook it, it ain't done.
Right.
And it cooked it right, then you got you some of that Louisiana Popeye chicken that they advertise on TV. You got you one of them Wendy's hamburgers, them Burger King burgers. I'm throwing out all these names. We need to get them on board as sponsors for this league too. That we give them a free program. But you get my point. You get a hamburger and it's raw. You got to season it, pat it up, put it in that skillet, and cook it. This is what we need with this league, is to take these ball players, develop them, give them that opportunity. And now there is no excuse. There's no excuse to say black players not getting the opportunity to play at HBCs. I got cut from my high school team, like Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Not necessarily because he couldn't play. You figure that one out.
Right.
But yet, what happened when Michael Jordan got a chance to play basketball? And the knock on Michael Jordan when he came out of North Carolina was he didn't have an outside shot. He was going to the hole. He was getting knocked up and banged up and bruised throughout the season because he was always driving to the hole. Michael Jordan spent days and nights working on that outside shot, perfected to the point like Larry Bird, he can close his eyes and still hit that hoop from 3-point range. Over time, he developed himself. He didn't come into the NBA with Chicago Bulls as Michael Jordan, the legend, Michael Jordan, the phenomenon. He developed himself, and that's what this developmental league will allow these players with talent and ability to continue playing baseball, to develop themselves, and then march them to the front door of Major League Baseball and say, you have no excuse now.
Indeed, man. You talked about a lot right there in that little quick soliloquy. First of all, I totally agree with you when you talked about American-born Black players, because I was in a social media group and they were talking about, no disrespect to him, but Ronald Acuna Jr. They were talking about him, and I'm like, well, I thought this was about Black players. He ain't a Black player. Don't start that, blah, blah, blah. It ain't nothing but the difference between here and in the Dominican or in South America is a boat ride from the slave. I'm like, no, I don't care. I want to talk about Black players, not, foreign-born, players who are just colored. So I'm glad you brought that up about Black American players. And also, you were talking about, you were talking about, I lost it that quick, but Major League Baseball. As you know, one of the endeavors I'm trying here with a documentary about Black players. Emailed Major League Baseball several times, not even a reply, no human reply, just a basic form reply, and it's like, you guys don't even really care. It doesn't seem like, at this point, and it's kind of depressing. Is that something you're kind of starting to experience?
Yeah, well, you got to understand, Major League Baseball and college sports is a business, first of all. It's about money. And it's also with business, it goes PR, public relations, and marketing. They got to give the perception that they're concerned about the decline of African-American baseball players. They can care less as long as they're making their millions and their billions of dollars, because in reality, when you look at professional sports, from basketball to football to soccer to the NFL, you look in the stands and you do not see African-American baseball players sitting in the stands every day and every night. So the problem is with professional sports, and I've said this once and I've said it a million times, have not figured out how to tap into the Black dollar. They haven't figured it out. And yet the Black economy in America spends over $300 trillion a year. The Black church in America spends over $600 billion a year in this economy. But yet they have not figured out how to tap into the Black dollar. They haven't figured out how to get a flow of how to get Black folks, I'm talking about the masses, the hundreds and thousands, to become season ticket holders. They haven't figured that out. So therefore, putting a priority on African Americans are not a priority to them because they don't see the dollars coming in from African Americans. Now, when you reverse Major League Baseball and you go to college football and you go to college basketball, look at your top teams out on the field for football and basketball and see what the makeup of the teams are. They're predominantly African American baseball players out there. I'm sorry, African American basketball and football players out there, because those are your athletes and they're bringing billions of dollars to those sports. They get 50, 60,000 people. Quiet as it's kept, college football and college basketball is equal, if not more, than professional football and basketball as far as revenue. So they need, if you take, and I tell them all the time, if you take the Black player out of college football and college basketball and put them at HBCs, who would be the national teams? Duke would not be ranked as national. Kentucky would not be ranked as a national team. The HBCs the Southerns and Gremlins would be the national team. You take that dollar out of the economy. But they see, and these guys, they the stars of the team, and I understand the economic, and I understand the process. But the fact of the matter is, you would not be on top, and those dollars would not be coming in if you didn't have the African American baseball player, athlete in college and college sports. Now you flip the script to baseball. Well, football is kind of a balance, but it's predominantly African American. Basketball, though they're trying to change the flavor, as they say, is predominantly African American. But because they need that to make their money. Major League Baseball has declined in African American baseball players, and yet they're still making billions of dollars. They don't need African American baseball player to make their money, to create their wealth, but they got to give a perception that we are concerned. So we'll give you a Jackie Robinson Day. Not to knock Jackie Robinson or his legacy, who broke the color barrier for Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. Despite that it was, well, we ain't gonna get into that there was an oath or pact between the Major League owners that they would not let black players into the game. It was a pact. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a written law, it was an agreement, a gentleman's agreement, a handshake they had. So my frustration is you honor Jackie Robinson, PR-wise, every year, and every team in Major League Baseball, why Jackie Robinson number. For breaking the color barrier, for being number uno, even though Fleetwood Holmes was actually the first African-American baseball player. They don't tell you that. Most Fleetwood Holmes, but they don't tell you that. But here you go, Jackie Robinson Day. Mm-hmm. But yet we're not doing nothing to actively increase the African-Americans in the game.
Right.
We're not doing that. We come up with these they got these urban initiatives now of Major League Baseball because of the cry about the lack of African Americans. They came up with these urban initiatives to get more blacks involved and going to inner cities. But here's my position. I've been in this game 40 years, so I know the ins and outs. I know the inner workings. I'm gonna create these black urban initiative programs to get more blacks involved. We're going to put millions of dollars in there and hire former black major league players to run these camps and clinics for these baseball players. Now, here's the thing, and I'm not knocking at it, it may have some good, but you go come in there, part of the urban initiative, and you go run a 3-day baseball camp, baseball clinic in the inner city for black kids, and they're not going to see you no more till next year. Right. We're going to give out some gloves, some bats, and this and that. So what is 3 days going to do? I'm going to feed you, you hungry. I'm going to come in and feed you for 3 days, but the other 362 days, you got to be hungry. Mm-hmm. You go suffer from malnutrition, and that's what's happening with the game.
Right.
You go starve to death them other 362 days. So we coming in, and PR-wise, we got this Players Alliance, and we're giving them millions of dollars, and they coming in community with big trucks saying Players Alliance, and I'm just calling a spade, and they giving out gloves, and they giving vests. That ain't helped that kid one time. And then some of them, they would get these urban initiative programs, and we got kids at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, that we having these urban initiative programs, that we're developing black players and inner city players. And when they finish at 17, the program ends. They're not quite ready to go to college. They're not quite ready to be drafted, but it's over. Mm-hmm. So you need something to allow those players, a league of our own, to continue playing, to continue developing. Now, everybody not going to play in the major leagues.
Right.
Everybody ain't going to be drafted. That's reality. But in addition to offering them an opportunity to play in the developmental league, we also offer an entrepreneurship training program, which expose these participants. The requirements to be in the league is you have to participate in entrepreneurship training. Now, we go teach you sports management, the inner workings of sports management. There are many, many hundreds and thousands of front office jobs in Major League Baseball, professional sports, that guys don't even know about. All they think about is, I'm going to play professional baseball. Mm-hmm. There are marketing jobs, the PR jobs, there's umpiring jobs, there's coaching jobs. We go teach you how that, just like me and you talking to each other now by way of Zoom, we go teach you how to produce programming. So you can have your own sports games, sports shows, and you can produce sports shows, and now, with this internet, you can make money, get you a big enough following, and they pay you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can now get you a following and generate you a salary. We go change their mindset. What we're talking about, and this is why you got to change their mindset to entrepreneurship to know that there's more out there that's playing baseball. Because, bro, we're talking about the decline of African American baseball players. Do you not know there's only one? To my knowledge, as of today, there's still only one black umpire in Major League Baseball.
Wow. Currently today?
As of today.
Oh,
now,
wow.
Unless the number increased in the last couple of years, I think his name is C.J. Buckney or Buckney. I don't remember his
C.B.
name.
Buckner?
Yeah, Buckner. He's the only black, unless there's been some more, and I have not checked the data, but he's the only American-born black umpire in Major League Baseball. Nobody talks about that.
I want to say that there's one other guy. Well, it doesn't matter, but I think he was American League based. I can't think of his name, but I want to say there is one other guy. But you're right, the numbers are down. Because as an umpire myself, I umpire the youth, and I go out there and the parents giving me crap, subtle crap, like basically saying I don't know the game, things like before we even start, things like that, and it's rather insulting. At times, it's like I've been doing this almost 20 years. I've done everything, college, everything down from college to 8U. Is like how dare you insult me like that? But okay, just to recap, we're here talking with Michael Mayden, Coach Michael Mayden out of Chicago. He runs a league of our own baseball program, trying to recruit and gather resources for Black American players to participate in the game. Let me ask you this: what do you say to the person, the naysayer that'll say, "Well, even if we do something like that, Major League Baseball will just swallow it up like they did the Negro League stats and everything, and basically make it useless at some point"?
Well, you have to maintain your independence because I have heard and Major League Baseball, when they get involved with something, they want to control it.
Mm-hmm.
They want to control it. They want to say it's theirs. They want to claim it. So you have to maintain your independence. We welcome their support.
Mm-hmm.
We welcome the support of anybody, because the bottom line is go take money to keep this league going. As I mentioned in the previous show, we had a league going some years ago, and we had to fold because a lot of people that made commitments to us and financial commitments, they didn't come through. We didn't get the gate and concession we thought, and we had to fold the league. Just like, when you go in business, if the business is not successful, you got to file for bankruptcy. Most people wind up filing for bankruptcy if you can't pay the bills. And, you get, when you, the leader, when things don't go out, you stole the money, you skip town, all those things, you go here. But I meant those that know what it takes to run a business when the financial resources is not there. It is what it is. So we welcome Major League Baseball support, and we want all to be involved. We want the Black community to embrace it. As a matter of fact, we just said we reorganized and restructured, then partnered with some other groups and put it under our non-for-profit. So we can go out to donations, grants, and we just sent out a nationwide press release to all the Black medias, encouraging the Black business. Actually hit today in blackpress.com, encouraging the Black business owners, the Black community leaders, the Black church, and Black community as a whole to make a donation. Go on our website at a League of Our Own, click on the donation link, and make a donation. Make $100, or $50, $1,000. Some can make a $10,000 donation to give us the funding we need to sustain the league, because this is what other communities do. When they see something, they embrace it. We're calling, and I tell them, when the press release go out, I got old Negro League players, they call me, because there's not a lot of them left. They dying off. They all in their 80s, 90s, and older. They dying off. They call me excited about what you're doing. It's needed. It's long overdue. You're a godsend. But as I tell people, they never say, "Well, Coach, how can we help you financially? What can we send you a check? What can you?" It takes money. It takes money to make this league work. And when it don't work, people quick to think you stole the money or it's a scam. But if you know as well as I do, let your car run out of gas and you ain't got no money. That car go sit wherever it stop at.
Right.
and eventually they go come toward.
Absolutely.
And when you can't, if you could put no gas in it, you darn sure can't pay the bill to get it out the pound. So guess what? You lose ownership of that car because the pound after so long go sell it or crush it or get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Same way with the league. If it can't sustain itself, it's gonna go by the wayside. Then somebody goes to oh, it's a shame. He had Frame had that great Cadillac and he got it taken away from him. There's always circumstances and conditions that people don't know, and people think they know you, think they know, and then folks just yak. We're trying to give kids an opportunity. They want to play baseball, they want to advance on to the next level.
Okay, yeah. And a couple more things. First off, I don't think we ever talked about it before. If we did, I apologize. But what did you think about the Major League Baseball swallowing up the Negro League stats and incorporating into the baseball Major League Baseball stats?
I'll be honest, I hadn't given it any serious thought, to be honest. But again, it's a PR move. It's a move to say they're doing something for Black baseball players, the history of Negro League Baseball, but more importantly, they basically own the rights to it now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, from a business standpoint, if you want to do anything with the marketing or PR of Negro League Baseball, their history, you got to go through Major League Baseball. So, we got a long way to go, but we got to preserve our history. We got to preserve our history.
Absolutely. Okay, let me ask you this as well. What do you okay, let me say it like this. I find that the biggest drawback to Black baseball players a lot of times are, the youth parents. They get them involved on a higher level of baseball like way too late. 13, 14 years old. It's like, that's once they realize that their son ain't going to be 6'6" to play basketball. You know what I'm saying? They realize he's only going to be 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1" maybe. And he won't be able to play basketball like that, like they would like to think. What do you think is one of the bigger drawbacks to the community?
Well, yeah, we got to start promoting baseball at an earlier age to get kids excited about it. But again, they got to see a future. They got to see a future, high school basketball, football. Well, your peers are at the high school basketball game. They come out, Friday night football, especially in these small rural areas, is real big. The whole town come out.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, high school baseball is at the end of the season, just before the high school season ends. Base, you got your family and maybe a few friends that come out to the game, but there's no glory in terms of, being on the basketball, football team. And then when you go to college, you're not really getting an opportunity. So we have nothing to look forward to because we feel, well, unless I'm on a good summer league team, I ain't gonna get nothing out of this game anyway.
Mm.
And now, again, when I coached, it was local ball. You did tournament ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now we go into this travel ball where you got to have $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to play on the travel team for 4 tournaments. Then you got to pay your own way to the hotel. You got to pay your own way for food. You got to buy a uniform. In addition to that, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 you got to pay. So it's become a business. It's become profitable to those that's getting these kids and really not developing, because when we played and it was back in the day, when I tell people, when we were all Black inner city team out of Chicago that went off into the suburbs playing Legion ball in Mount Prospect, Arlington Heights, playing all white suburban teams. Good competition, the best competition, great fields. We went off to Florida, Canada, and Virginia, all over the country playing ball. It's this all Black inner city team. But guess what? Everywhere we went, honest God truth, everybody on our team could have started for the teams that we were playing against.
Absolutely.
It was the best of the best. It was the best high school baseball players in the Chicagoland area. And then as the program began to expand, we started getting Catholic League kids. We started getting white kids, Hispanic kids. The program became diverse. Sometimes I had predominantly white teams and no Black players. And over time, 40 plus years as a group. But at the end of the day, you had a group of good, talented ball players, and they wasn't paying no $2,000-$3,000 to play ball back then. If you got $100 out of them back then, you was doing good. But back then, Days Inn, Holiday Inn was a hotel. You go on the road and you get a hotel room for $50 a night.
Mm-hmm.
For $4-5 to a room. Don't tell nobody. But we crap with being like Chinese. But nowadays you got, again, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 fee to be on this travel ball. And it ain't about the best ball players. It's whoever can afford to pay the fee.
Pay the fee, exactly.
And then you got the same ones, the brothers go pay the fee because we got to be socially accepted to be on this team, and they sitting on the bench.
See, and I don't care what you say. You say last year that didn't happen, but I know you came to Cincinnati one time, and I was your umpire. I was the base umpire. I remember because I'll never forget. We was like, time. You pulled out a stopwatch, like, no, we still got 3 minutes.
That sounds like me now. But yeah, I'd have been a lot. You name it, I'd have been there. Puerto Rico, Hawaii, Dominican Republic, Cincinnati, Toledo, Kentucky, Virginia. You name it, we done been there. Minnesota. So I mean, I got tunnel vision. You asked me something that happened last week, I ain't gonna remember.
I hear you, man. All right, sitting here with Coach Michael Mayden out of Chicago. He runs a league of our own. You see the website there, AL247.com. Give me a final thought as we wrap this up, Coach.
Well, again, we're excited about we're partnering with some groups to make this league happen. We're excited. We're looking forward to giving ball players the opportunity to continue playing baseball, which is my passion. I've been in baseball for 44 years now, scouted for 5 major league teams, coached college ball, did high school ball, did tournament ball before it became travel ball. I was a pioneer in Chicago for what they call now travel ball because I did it before it existed. And I did it mostly on my own dime, helping guys get into college, being drafted, this and that. Now these guys are running these elite urban initiatives, and they getting paid to do this. I didn't get paid. So, we're excited about the opportunity to continue the legacy, the dream, and the passion to see ball players playing baseball. I don't want to just say African-American because I tell people, I crossed that color line a long time ago, and I see people are just people. Because when you get these kids on the road, they just kids. They don't understand white, black, this and that. And, we go traveling, again, we still predominantly the only black faces or black coaches most of the place we go. And you got the white coaches and the right family scratching their head because they see these white kids, black kids, Hispanic kids coming together, playing ball, and they like true brothers. They look forward to seeing each other. They laugh and joke, having a great time. Ain't no, again, on the team, they talk about hazing and this. You have your white jokes and your black jokes and your Hispanic jokes on a team, not racial stuff, but kids just having fun. That's what baseball is about. You got to have fun between the white lines. As I had one of my players, Breezo, James Thornton, he would say, you got to leave everything on the line. You got to leave each game mentally and physically drained.
Absolutely.
And that's what I am with this league. I'm mentally and physically draining myself, along with those that's working with us, to make this league happen, to give guys opportunity, and to see baseball flourish in the African-American community.
And there you have it. Coach Michael Mayden out of Chicago. It's always a pleasure talking to you. We try to do this more than once a year, so I'll be back at you sometime in the summer, hopefully, and we could still put this together. But we'll do everything we can to assist your effort and to include getting that independent league. So I appreciate your time. Go ahead and shout your website out one more time for us.
A league of our own 247.com. If you can't remember that, just to make it a short verse, ALOOO247.com. Get on that website, get the information. And I got to say this because we're more excited because the teams are going to be named the Rule Foster Elite Giants, the Sam Allen Monarchs, Satchel Paige All-Stars, and Dick Allen Hitman. Dick Allen saved the White Sox.
Richie Allen, yes, sir.
In the 70s, and he was the most valuable player of Chicago White Sox. So we decided, and as we expand from 4 to 6 teams and FOB, we go name them after other distinguished African-American or distinguished baseball players. So just limited to African-American. Right. So we're excited. Or the The uniforms are on the website. Take a look at them. I got a sample one in today. I'm gonna grab this real quick. I'm gonna stop protocol, get out the camera. This is one of our sample ones that came in today.
Oh, nice.
New poster. I ain't got it button up, but it's you go love it. Go on the website, you can see it. I'm just being a kid in the candy store right now.
I hear you.
The Chicago Giants.
Okay.
So we want this league to be successful. We want everybody out there that's tuning in this show, spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, and tell somebody about this league and to go to the website.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, Coach Michael Mayden, we're gonna wrap this up, and everybody, make sure you go to his website, check us out. Don't forget, like and subscribe to the to this channel, like and subscribe to his channel, and we'll be back soon. We'll be back with more stuff for you from the summer. But until then, everybody, be well. Peace out.
Peace out.